All right, according to the American Gaming Association's commercial gaming revenue tracker, U.S. commercial gaming revenue exceeded $13.6 billion in the second quarter of 2021, marking a new industry record. That total easily topping the previous record of just over $11 billion set in the third quarter of 2019 and then again in the first quarter of this year. Well, joining me now is Bill Miller, President and CEO of the American Gaming Association. Bill, it's great to have you on the show. It's been a remarkable turnaround compared to a year ago. What were the major catalysts?
Well, first, Kristen, thank you so much for letting me on the show. It unquestionably, for almost every industry and certainly every individual throughout the country, a most challenging 18 months. But I think what we saw in the gaming industry is it's a very resilient industry. And our operators across the board, whether it was sports betting, iGaming, traditional brick and mortar, they proved to be not only good partners in their communities, but also really good at figuring out how to engage the public in a significant way.
So it's interesting, Bill, we've got kind of two cross currents going on right now, right, as we approach fall. The NFL season, but this spreading Delta variant. What are your expectations for this current period, especially as we head into the fall?
Well, I think that it's unquestionably that sports betting has been an incredible growth opportunity in the gaming sector. We have seen incredible growth from really May of 2018 when the Supreme Court made it possible for states to make it legal for sports to bet on sports. We've seen incredible growth in states all across the country, and the numbers bear that out so far. And when we move into football season, we know that sports bettors really enjoy betting on the NFL and college football, and believe that the numbers that we're going to see in the fall, both in person as well as mobile, are going to be really outstanding.
And I know here Nevada, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, certainly leading the way, Bill, when it comes to generating revenue from gambling. Are there other states making strides that you've seen be effective here, and brick and mortar properties as well?
Well, I think one of the things that people were really curious about is, is mobility or, on the online gaming experience going to take away from brick and mortar? And I think that during the pandemic, what we saw was the online experience, whether it be iGaming or sports betting, was really, quite frankly, a bridge and a lifeline for a number of brick and mortar properties. And that what we've seen since is that while people really like the ability to wager on sports via their phones and via mobile, they also really want to get out and be with other people and experience what our industry has to offer in terms of restaurants and entertainment venues. And so we kind of think that the old view that mobile, online were opponents to brick and mortar has kind of been broken, and that business is a much more complementary dynamic than was previously thought.
Let me ask this, Bill, as more and more companies do require vaccinations, more states, local governments as well, do put mask mandates or vaccine mandates in place, how is your company approaching that?
Well, I think that the gaming industry has been on the forefront in terms of health and safety. We are in 44 states around the country. Early in the pandemic, many of our casino properties were turned into testing facilities, and then they transitioned to vaccination sites. We have had 130 casinos across the country that have been vaccination sites in the communities in which they operate. And so our view is we want to be responsible partners. We want to certainly take our advice from government officials and health and safety experts, but we also recognize that people want to go out and have fun. And I think I was out in Las Vegas just 3 weeks ago. You could see and feel the excitement that people were having, and that was despite, at that point, a no mask mandate. They have reverted temporarily, and again, we take our marching orders from government officials, but we absolutely believe that there is a huge pent-up demand and excitement for the industry, and I saw it just 3 weeks ago when I was in Las Vegas.
Let me ask this, Bill. I think a lot of people craving experiences, right? We see pent-up demand for that. But it's been fascinating during this pandemic to see, for instance, how even e-commerce, very quickly has surpassed brick and mortar locations in terms of sales that are happening. So do you see some of the trends now as temporary COVID trends, or do you think that we'll see an acceleration to online, yes, benefiting in person, but maybe overtaking in person in a post-COVID world?
I think that player kind of behavior is kind of something that we'll watch and certainly see. It was certainly forced to be different during the pandemic, but as I said before, I really think that the in-person experience that so many of our operators provide is something that can't be replicated in your home or on your phone, and so that these two experiences will live side by side. But I think that some other advancements that have happened during the pandemic and because of the pandemic are going to be with us, and I think that they're going to be really positive things. One of which is digital payments. Casino industry has been one of those that have been, really slow to adapt digital transactions, and I think that what we're seeing now is, whether it's on the casino floor or in other places, that consumer demand coupled with health and safety protocols are advancing this industry in a way that, quite frankly, might not have happened nearly as quickly but for COVID.
All right, it's been fascinating to watch, Bill. Thank you so much again for coming on the show. That's Bill Miller, President and CEO of the American Gaming Association.